Hello there, racing fans, and welcome back to the Ginger Joe Racing Show, brought to you in association with betting.co.uk. And I'm your host, Ginger Joe, and I'm back with what is a very special episode. I'm really excited about this one, as I'm actually joined by none other than Grade 1 winning trainer and dual champion and dual Cheltenham Festival winning trainer, Ben Paulin. Ben, welcome to the show. How are you?
No, I'm good, thanks, Joe. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Thank you for giving us some time. I know it's a really busy period for you and the team at Naunton, but you're flying, Ben, already. 26 winners already, a 30% strike rate. The mood in the camp this time of year must be brilliant with the season coming up, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. We moved here obviously in April, and it's been pretty plain sailing since. We're delighted to be in the facilities that we created over the last sort of 18 months, and yeah, things are going the right way. We're not going to rest on our laurels, but we're delighted with how it started.
I feel like you've been getting the runners out a little bit earlier this year, Ben, and obviously it's paying the price as well, but getting quite a lot of winners on the cards already.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm completely honest, we've no more summer jumpers than we normally have. We don't really have more than sort of 10 or 12 to run through the summer. They've just been in particularly good form, and lots of them have racked up sort of 2, 3, 4 winners, and that makes all the difference. But yeah, it's been a great start. It's good to have so many winners on the board just in the middle of September where we are, and nice to have a good start to the season.
Off to a flyer, Ben, and obviously long may that continue as well. And my Discord chat have been really excited as well to hear from you, Ben. Yesterday I put up one of your runners, Gentleman's Valley, won at 8-1 in the opener at Utop's Turf for the Megsons. He looked a little bit unsure before the off, but he was certainly in command by the end of the race. I thought Luca gave him a brilliant ride to get him settled, and probably won a little bit shade cozily. Would he be looking for a little bit of a step up in class on the basis of that one? I mean, first of all, how's he come out of the race this morning?
Yeah, he's great actually. Yeah, he's couldn't be better this morning. Bounced out and ate up last night, so that's always a good start. But yeah, he's an interesting character. He's always been fairly highly strung at home, but he's much better at home these days. But on the track, he just seems to be quite hard work to get him. He's fine until you get on, and then he's grand until the rest of the horses join him down at the start, and he seems to have a little bit of a tantrum these days. But must admit, my heart was in my mouth a bit at the start, wondering whether he would jump off with them. And even when they did, the tapes did go back.
That's
He still decided he was going to throw a few shapes. But once the horse is actually going forward, he's always quite a nice ride, actually. He jumped well on the whole. He missed a couple, but that's just him. Hopefully he'll improve as he goes on. But yeah, he is a horse that is better than his handicap. And if he just learns to settle over time, then he could progress a bit further up the grades, and we'll see where we get to.
Is this just something that you think will come with a bit of age and a bit of time, a little bit more racing? Because he's still so impressive to do that first time out this season. Just seemed to be, he must have some sort of engine in it.
Yeah, I think he's. I hope he matures. I wouldn't bank on it. But if he doesn't, then we'll just have to become wise to his antics and make plans to keep him settled. The Americans pony these horses down. I don't think we'll ever do that, because actually the more horses he has around him, the worse he is. But hopefully he'll settle. Keelan Woods, who is sponsored by the Megsons, will probably ride him next time out, and we'll go from there and see how we get on. But yeah, he probably was. He did it nicely off a long layoff yesterday.
That must be a little bit extra special as well, having a winner for the Megsons. Obviously, strong supporters of yourself, bringing you a Cheltenham Festival winner as well as a combined team of Global Citizen. To me, Ben, you've just come a long way from your assistant training days at Nicky Henderson. You're now a prolific, proper top trainer. Has this just left you wanting more for the future? You just want more Cheltenham Festival winners? Is that the long-term goal? Is that what it generally bodes down to? Or is it, first of all, a consistent campaign and then anything extra as a bonus?
Yeah, I mean, we've always been a yard that we've been very fortunate in the fact that we've had 3 festival winners and various other high-profile horses. We were unlucky to have lost probably the best 2 we've had, the best 3, in Bright Forecast, Barter's Hill, and Willoughby Court, far too young. But yeah, we've got a nice bunch of horses. We always aim to be competing at the top end if we can. Obviously, the form of the yard since we moved has been much more consistent. It's been much easier to have them so healthy and fresh in themselves. So that's a great start, and that should only bode well for the sort of more high profile horses to also follow a similar route. You know, they're all in the same environment. We finished last season with a bunch of summer jumpers that we thought were probably high in the handicap. We didn't buy any new summer jumpers at all. They simply improved for being here. So if the rest of them follow suit and improve for being here as well, then we're hopefully in for a good year.
Definitely. I certainly miss Barter's Hill a lot. I remember he beat Altior and Bouvardere, didn't he, in one of his opening bumpers. He looked like an absolute machine. So yeah, he was a very, very good horse. And essentially the one that put you on the map, essentially, Ben, wasn't he? A real nice purchase. As I said, now you've got the likes of Global Citizen. I mean, how was he after the other day? He wasn't at his best at Worcester. He looked like
no, he really wasn't. It was unfortunate, in fact. He jumped the first two beautifully and then sort of half went to put in a short one at the third and just completely lost his footing. Hit the fence quite hard and then jumped markedly right on a couple of occasions and wasn't even attacking his fences. And he's normally a real sort of aggressive nature to him where he just gets on with life and just gallops hard, jumps well. And that's his strength. So he normally puts horses to the sword that way. And we were slightly, you know, we knew he'd come on massively for the run with the big aim being a month's time in America. But it came to light very quickly, actually, that after the race he seemed fine. But by the time we were back in the stable yard, he had a little bit of swelling appearing on the outside of his near fore. So he'd obviously wrapped his leg very hard on the third fence. And so I would suggest that he was moving right at his fences and backing off them slightly because he was just uncomfortable on that near fore. Keelan felt he wasn't comfortable at all turning in. He thought he'd nearly win going to 4 out. By the time he jumped 4 out, he said he knew the game was up. So he pulled him up and looked after him. But it isn't anything more than just a bang. And he'll have an easier 3 or 4 days now. Most of the swelling has disappeared, and we should be still very much on track to go to America. We'll probably give him a proper racecourse gallop or something similar before he goes, just to make sure he's in the form he needs to be. You know, it's not something you do on a whim. Take a horse over to America for a race like that. It costs a lot these days, so you need to think you're going there with a chance. And I certainly think on the form he was finishing in last season, and previous to that he'd been a bit quiet for 18 months, but his sort of wayward lad days, his new one hurdle days, he should be well able to put it to the best of them in America. And so it's all very much still on track at the moment. It's always a relief actually as a trainer when something comes to light which is a genuine reason. You know, it's not just the horse not wanting to do it or not quite right or anything like that. No, he's very healthy. He was fine, but he just wasn't himself. And I'm not going to say it was the perfect preparation. You know, we would have loved to have gone better if he hadn't made a mistake and he bowled into the home straight in front by 3 or 4 and he got tired after the second last. That would have been fine. You know, I'd have been delighted with that, but it wasn't to be. But now it's, I suppose, my job to make sure that it is all okay between now and the 15th of October.
That was going to be my question. Is that still going to be the aim to go for the American National? I'm really glad, obviously, that gives you enough time. It'll be a great team effort as well, like you said, to get him over there. With him being 10 now, does the campaign, the way you train him, is it any different to usual? Or is this the main target, the American National? Or have you got a longer term season target as well? Or is it a case of splitting it in two or keeping him sound and then going from
there? I mean, to be honest, he's a horse. He's 10, but he's not many miles on the clock. We haven't over-raced him. I think he would, honestly, going into this race, thought he was better than ever in his physical state and the way he's been behaving. He's every enthusiasm he ever had. But first big target was obviously the American National, which we'll still drive towards now. And after that, when we get him home, we'll see how he takes the travel, all the rest of it. But there's all sorts of races. You know, he's still going to be rated about 140, 143, something like that. And on his old form, he's still 20 pounds well in. And I still think he's the sort of horse that he can be. So I'm very much looking forward to probably campaigning at some of the better races throughout the season. He's not a horse you'll see every 2 weeks, probably more 4, 5, 6 week gaps in between. But no, hopefully he can feature in some of the better races, handicaps or level weights if it goes well towards the end of the season, and really look forward to having another productive year with him.
Yeah, best of luck with him all year round, Ben. He's real good team effort. He's definitely got the talent on his day. I'd love to see him have one more big one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Another one of yours I really do like, Ben. Another one owned by the Megsons, actually, is the 6-year-old, one of the Nathaniel's sons, Severance.
Yeah.
I was at Cheltenham when he finished second. Really unlucky that day, just nipped by Cormier of Ellison's. But to me, probably looks like he's going places. Second at Aintree, second in a Grade 3. How's he at the moment for this year?
Yeah, he's great. I mean, his season. Wow. I mean, as you said, he was second at Cheltenham, second at Aintree, second in the Swinton. Just kept hitting the crossbar. And normally with horses like that, you start to think, well, maybe the handicap has just got a grasp of them. But I firmly believe there's plenty of improvement left in him. He's another horse that didn't start last season overly well, but progressed as we went through the year. Seemed to gain confidence all the time. And I'm sure there's a big one in him there somewhere. Probably remain a handicap hurdler for this season. Soft ground is a 2-miler, and I dare say on better ground he'd probably get 2.5. But no, he's in great form. He's actually in the Cesarewitch, but whether we go Cesarewitch or whether we go Welsh champion hurdle, as I speak, in fact, he's walking in front of me. But he is the Welsh champion hurdle would be a great fit for him. Very, very suitable race, and so he will be ready for the second week. I think it is 8th or whatever it is of October. He'll be ready to rock and roll. He's got a lot of work to do between now and then, but he's the sort of horse that takes it well. So we'll look forward to getting him out again in the near future.
Just one quick question on that. So you've got him in the Cesarewitch and the Welsh champion hurdle. Have you got him in the Cesarewitch for a reason that he may be better than at stepping up in the trip after that? Or is it just the case that you think he could be well handicapped if he goes there, where the hurdling obviously is the long-term game with him?
Yeah, hurdling's the long-term game. We just thought we'd roll the dice and chuck the entry in and see how he comes to hand. I won't need to make a decision until the week before. Entries for the Welsh champion hurdle aren't out yet, but I do think he's a horse that has thrived in every aspect, really. We don't have that many flat runners, but we're going to hopefully have a few more in the near future. But I just can't help feel that he might just be slightly unexposed on the flat over that sort of trip. And so it's definitely an option, but long-term, he's a hurdler.
Okay, excellent. Another one of yours, Ben, your darling. You've always thought a lot of him, turning into quite a nice chaser. What plans do you have for him this year? 7-year-old prime year for him now, maybe?
Yeah, it is. I mean, he's been slightly frustrating. There's no two ways about it. On his day, he's very good. He's best fresh. And then he's slightly lost every season. He's just slightly lost that sort of edge that he has first time out. But I think somewhere like this new yard will be a huge help to him. And so we're looking forward to getting him back on track. We'd probably look to go for a decent pot first time out. I don't think he'd quite get into the paddy power. I don't think he'd be quite high enough in the weights, but a decent pot all the same. Whatever happens, he'll take a lot of stopping in that race. And then there's an idea that we might look towards maybe qualifying for the Aintree Fox Hunters in the new year. He's owned by some great friends of mine, the Vesty family, and we just thought it might be a different angle. He's not old. You need to be a decent horse to win those races, and it'd be a great night, a great pot to try and win for the Vesties. So that's the sort of idea going forward. But we'll see how the season progresses. He might, if he shows his form that he produces first time out throughout the season because of the move to the new yard, then he won't be going hunter chasing because he could be operating in some very decent fields. And he's returned this season looking magnificent, actually, and he's cantering away really nicely, and we're very happy with where he is. So Yeah, he's a horse with huge ability. There's no doubting that. We just need to make sure that he produces it time and time again.
I can definitely see his name on a big pot this year, Ben. Absolutely. He's been on my radar since last year. He kept cropping out. Every time I saw him, he's just that horse that's definitely got a big day in him. Absolutely. As I said, you had a real good season. On Springs has contributed to 4 wins for you already. He's showing no signs of stopping as well. Been busy since
Yeah,
different.
no, he's been a revelation since he's gone chasing. And I mean, I haven't actually looked at his mark. He might have gone up yesterday because El Paso Wood that he beat at Newton Abbot ran 4 days later somewhere and won, and then won 4 days later and won. And as a lot of these Judith Wilson horses seem to be doing, it appears that they run them quite regularly. But for standing in his box, my secretary just informed me he hasn't gone up, which is a relief. But he's a real show off that doesn't really try that hard. Doesn't have to try that hard at the level he's been recently. He comes out of his races fresh as he goes into them. So yeah, he could keep progressing, and we'll look to get him out in the not too distant future.
So, okay, so I'm just going to go on to a couple of maybe the lesser known horses at this point in the yard, Ben, but a few definitely that caught my eye. You've got a 5-year-old gelding called Densworth, won a bumper at Worcester by 15 lengths, beating a Nichols horse. Haven't seen him since. How's he?
He's in great order. Thought a huge amount of him this time last year. Ran him in a bumper at Uttoxeter, thought he'd win, and he basically pulled up. All sorts of issues. He was hanging. He made a little bit of a noise. It was a car crash of a race. So his owners and I sent him off to Newmarket to have a bone scan, and it just revealed a lot of hot spots across his body. No fractures or anything like that, but he was just basically struggling to keep up with the work because he was a good horse and he was a willing horse. He was producing some lovely work at home, but actually over 2 miles he couldn't sustain it. So we gave him the time he needed and ran him at Worcester, thinking, if he doesn't produce now, then maybe he's not the horse we hoped he was. But he duly did win it very nicely indeed. He wasn't really a bumper type. He a bit tap for toe most of the way through that race and a bit green, but he turned the tables at the end and really won very well indeed. So he's been away for some schooling practice with Laura Collett because he's jumping. He was very able to jump, but he was just a little bit guessy. Anyway, he's come back from that schooling practice very, very, very good indeed. Really quite economical and a brilliant jumper. So we'll be looking to get him out, I should think, mid-end of October. Try and get a couple of novice hurdles under his belt and see where we are around Christmas, whether we chuck him in a bit deeper at that point. But he's certainly a horse, if he stays on the straight and narrow, with plenty of ability. Yeah,
plenty of scope for improvement, that one. Looking forward to him. You've also got a real nice looking filly as well, daughter of Australia, Mrs. Grimley. Came over from Ireland. She's 1-for-1 for you. I think she came from the Harrington yard over there. You must think a little bit of her as well, Ben.
Yeah, lovely mare. She was only 4 last year. Oh, she's only 4 now, and she'd had 3 runs with the Harringtons in not too long a period. And we bought her at the sales. Kate Harrington thought she'd do a nice job in England. And she duly won at Southall very nicely. Met with a bit of traffic in the home straight, but still came away to win cosily. So hopefully she's a filly that can progress throughout the season. Novice hurdles and maybe something like the mare's final at Newbury would be a good shout for her.
Okay, 2 more, Ben. Only quickly for you. Henry's Friend, 5-year-old gelding, 20-length winner at Aintree, son of Scirocco. Again, lovely breeding with these types as well. What do you think of him?
Yeah, very nice. Not a horse that had overly wowed us at home in his preparation. He'd just gone through the motions. My assistant Tom had ridden him a couple of times and particularly liked him. I wasn't so sold, but he did. He's jumped off. Was very green at his hurdles. Jumped the road crossing at Aintree, but when push came to shove, he did the job very nicely. I'm not sure it was the strongest race we've ever seen in our life, but the way he went about it, as green as he was, must mean he's got plenty of ability. He's a horse that will probably run a novice hurdle middle of October, and then look to chuck him into a better race maybe come November, having got that experience of one hurdle race under his belt already. But yeah, another nice horse that, going the right way. He needs to continue on the same track, but he seems very well at the moment. His work's been very good. He's holding his condition well and moving well. So yeah, he's in a great place.
Really excited by him too. Now the last one, Ben, this one's actually unraced, not entered anywhere just yet. A 3-year-old gelding by Walk in the Park, owned by the Megsons. I don't know how much you can tell us about this one yet. Monty Bodking. I love the profile of this one. This could be anything. Are we going to see him this year, next year?
So he's been in the yard 2 weeks. I think he was broken in at Fran and Charlie Posts. They particularly liked him. He's done plenty of jumping there. He's had a little bit of a break. He's come back in. I must say, he's a magnificent looking horse. And it really is a stunning horse. I'm absolutely thrilled that we bought him. And you might see him in the spring, but it'll only be in a bumper. But from what I've seen so far, he looks great.
Definitely got him in my tracker. He's one I'm going to be keeping an eye on. I can't wait to see him on the track. So, Ben, that is all the stable talks over. I'm just going to give you a quick fire this or that, if you don't mind, so we can just find out a little more about Ben Paulin. So, Ben, tea or coffee?
Squash.
Shishkin or Energamine?
Shishkin.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Gold Cup or Grand National?
Gold Cup.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Cato or Denman?
Denman.
What horse would you like to train that you don't already, and you can have your pick of anything?
What's the horse that fell of Willie's at the last?
This year? Or Benny Dejew back in the day?
What's it called? The Lovely Chaser that fell, the French bred. God. Was it in there?
What a time to go blank.
Anyway, we all know which one it is. It's owned by the Donnellys.
Yeah.
One for your fans to wriggle through. My God,
I'll give away a mug. First person to comment with the name, I'll give away a racing mug.
Yeah.
Okay. And what race? And one horse to follow for the year, Ben? Just the one?
From my yard?
Yes, from your yard, absolutely.
I think Shake 'em Up Harry's going to have a massive year. I don't think I've ever had him consistently right. I think on soft ground, I think he's a monster. I think he's very well handicapped. I think 2.5 miles when he's spot on is where he needs to be. He starts in the Paddy Power Gold Cup, and I think he could really progress into being a proper horse this season.
Brilliant. Okay. Ben, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you taking the time. Good luck to yourself. Good luck to the whole team up in Norton. Seems like it's doing you the world of good up there at Norton and Norton Downs. And maybe we'll see you in the winners' enclosure at the Cheltenham Festival this year. And we can have another chat and see how the season's gone for you. Thanks for joining. Have a real good time.
Thanks.
Season, and we'll see you again.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Ben.